Resourceful Designer, episode 228. Print is not dead.
Welcome to the Resourceful Designer podcast, offering solutions to streamline your graphic and web design business so you can get back to designing. And now, your host. He has nothing against alcohol, he just never saw the appeal. Mark Descote.
Welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the print side of design and how it's still a viable option for designers. I'm also going to share a resource of the week for, doing good while also building your skills and portfolio. Now, what have I been up to this past week? Well, I've been doing a couple of maps for a local real estate company that I have as a client. So they have some subdivisions and they're developing a new one and they needed some maps to go in their office as well as on their website. So I'm doing that for them. I've also got 2 new podcast websites to do that I got orders for this week, and another website for another client that he wants a logo, so a brand designed, as well as a new website. It's just going to be a single page website for his services. He has one service he offers. He doesn't need a whole lot, but it'll still be a fun project to work on. Besides that, I've been making a few little changes to the back end of my podcast branding website. I'm trying to streamline some things, just make it easier for me for the whole order process. And so far, that's working out really well. That's just a little bit of what I've been up to. Now, at this point of the podcast, I'd usually tell you what I've been doing in the Resourceful Designer community, but I thought I'd pass the mic over to a community member and let him give you his experiences.
Hi, I'm Mike Albuquerque from Mass Appeal Agency, and I've been a member of the Resourceful Designer community since it started. I decided to join the community because I was looking for a group of like-minded individuals. You know, being a solopreneur and, having started my own agency, I was already a couple years in, and you do get that sense of isolation, right? Especially if you're used to working in an agency or corporate and you have peers next to you who you can chat about design and work and really just get feedback about anything you're working on or just random ideas. You don't really get that. And so I was really craving that type of interaction, which is why I had started looking for a mastermind community even before Mark announced it. And I remember listening to it in the podcast. And when he did announce he was starting the community, I was so excited. I was one of the first members to get in, and I've been really happy ever since. To me, the main benefit of the community is the fact that I get to tap onto, a whole group of talented, driven individuals who have the same goals that I do, right? We're all trying to grow our business. And it may be in different ways and it may be to different points, but we all have similar objectives. We are all spread out throughout the country and really the world, enough to where we're not really competing with each other. We have different focuses and talents. And we can tap onto that community sense. It's really a giving environment. People don't hold back knowledge and they don't hold back on feedback or anything else. So I just really appreciate having a community that gives me the chance to get that from people. And personally, it's helped me a lot whenever I face an obstacle or challenge that I hadn't met before as a business owner or, even as a designer as well. I love getting a chance to just open up a thread in the group or to ask a question on one of our video sessions and hear everyone's feedback, hear everyone's ideas of what their experience with this scenario has been in the past. Maybe they've had this challenge, maybe they haven't, but everyone is so open and willing to help out, be it something as small as recommending a new tool or a new WordPress plugin, all the way to some bigger goals with business, what direction you're taking your business, what your plans are for how are you going to get there, right? Building goals and smart goals and driving forward. So for anyone out there, if you're on the fence about the community, give it a shot. I promise you won't regret it. Don't think that you're too novice or that you're too much of an expert. The range of people who are in it really varies. You have people who are starting up and you have people who've been doing it for decades. All around, it's just a really good opportunity to exchange experiences. You won't regret it.
Well, thank you very much for that, Mike. And if you would like to join Mike and all the others within the community, please visit resourcefuldesigner.com/community. And now, this week's Resource of the Week. And speaking of the community, This week's resource was actually something I discovered through Brett, a community member. And it's a website called catchafire.org. And what Catch a Fire is a website that allows you to find projects where you can volunteer your time. So if you're a new designer, you're trying to build your portfolio, you're trying to branch into a new niche, this is a perfect opportunity to find people who need work. These are mostly for charities and nonprofits that are looking for design works but might not have a budget to help out. Well, you can volunteer your time and actually design stuff for them that you can use in your portfolio. And what's good about this is the stuff that you design, you can actually say it's been for an actual client. It was actually put to use. It's not something you're inventing or something you're just doing that is not actually being used. So it's a great website. I looked through it. I haven't actually used it myself, but after Brett brought it up and said that he got a project through it, he's doing a website for a client. And I looked it over and I thought this is a really good service for any designer, especially those who are starting out, who don't have a portfolio or a well-established portfolio. It's a great way for you to get real life client work that you can showcase. And these are clients that are in need. As I mentioned, they're charities or nonprofits. So you feel good doing the work. You get the skills and the experience required. And the work you do can maybe lead on to bigger and better things. So if you're in that position where you're trying to build your portfolio, or if you just have free time and you want to do some work for a good cause, why don't you check out catchafire.org. And now, print is not dead. You know, it's kind of funny how things change. There was a time, actually not too long ago, in fact, when graphic designers designed almost entirely for print. When I got into this industry, it was all print. Sure, there were trade show booths and vehicle graphics and other things, but in their own way, those are all considered print as well. Then there's this thing called the internet that became more and more popular over time. And designers started to, let's say, encroach on the turf that was at first mostly populated by computer programmers. And before you knew it, a whole new industry in the design space was born, web design. And this allowed designers to help clients on two fronts, both digitally and on paper. But as time moved along and the quote-unquote paperless world became closer to a reality, it still never reached the potential that a lot of people thought it would, more and more designers started shifting away from print design to concentrate solely on the digital side of the industry. And nowadays, it's become quite common to find designers who only do websites. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But contrary to popular belief, print is not dead. There is still a vast market out there for print design. In fact, it's become even more important now. With the popularity of websites, landing pages, social media, online advertising, and the whole bit, print material needs to stand out more than ever now in order to be seen. But it's still a very viable form of marketing. Not to mention, print can be a very lucrative part of any design business. Not only are you paid for designing the print work, but you can also earn a commission on the cost of the print run. Sometimes that commission is actually more than what you charge for the design. For example, I have one client who orders business cards through me on a regular basis. I charge them a fixed price of $20 to input the new employee's contact information on the card. The card's already designed. It's just going in, changing their number, their extension, their email, their name, their title, and so forth. I then take care of handling the printing of that card, and I make $40 every time they order a batch of cards. So I charge $20 for the design part of it and $40 to have them printed. And that's just for business cards. You can make some really good money if you're brokering print jobs for posters or postcards or flyers or brochures or annual reports, whatever, etc., etc. In fact, I did an entire episode of the podcast. Episode 49 was entitled Print Brokering to Supplement Your Design Business. So listen to that one to find out more how you can increase your income this way. But what I'm getting at is print can play a good part in rounding out your design business. And I want to share 5 reasons why if you're not already, you should consider designing for print. Number 1, print is effective. People are bombarded every single day with digital advertising to the point that you almost become blind to it. If you logged on to your social media accounts today, I can almost guarantee that you were exposed to at least a minimum of a dozen different ads. And I wonder, can you actually name a single one of those ads? I know I can't. Digital ads, although effective, I know they are because I use them myself, they are considered digital noise and can easily be lost among all the other pixels on the screen. Print, however, stands out. People trust print. The low cost of digital advertising means that anyone could throw a couple of dollars out and publish an online ad. Print, on the other hand, requires thought and investment. So when someone sees a printed marketing piece, they tend to trust it more. Tests run by marketing agencies show that 82% of people trust the information in a print ad more than over a digital ad. And besides the trust factor, print just outperforms digital when marketing to a local audience. Posters, yard signs, banners, vehicle graphics are all great ways to get a message out to local audiences. You can see this at work, in force, during any electoral campaign. But even outside of elections, print has a way of being seen by people you want to target. Print has what I like to call a higher eyeball time, meaning the average time looking at something online when you're on your computer or on your phone. An online ad, the average time looking at it is probably less than 1 second, and a website that you actually click on, usually less than a minute. A print brochure, on the other hand, captures someone's attention in a way that digital can't. And it's been found that it's easier to recall information if it's seen in a print format than when viewed digitally. So if you are designing stuff for local clients in your area, why not include print design as part of your services? You'll be seen as someone that can do it all, both print and digital, and it'll help grow your business. Plus, you can always put print to use for yourself in promoting your own design business. Now, number 2 is print brings in big profits. I already mentioned earlier how you can make extra money by offering print brokering as a service, but even the designing side is good for business. There's a certain mentality among clients that graphic designers can do both print and web, but web designers don't often do print. So don't limit yourself. By offering both web and print design, you can expand your client pool because there's going to be some people out there that need a designer, but they're not interested in marketing digitally, especially in local markets. When it comes to small mom and pop style businesses or one-man operations, a lot of them don't necessarily want to do digital, or they want to, but they also want to hit their local market. Well, offering print design is an additional revenue stream for you to attract these clients. Number 3, print allows you to upsell or cross-sell. Offering both web and print allows you to expand your services and cross-sell to your clients. Back in episode 145 of the podcast, I introduced you to the 3-tier pricing strategy. And that's where you don't just give one price to your clients, you give them 3 different prices at 3 different levels of services. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole details behind this strategy. If you want to know more about 3-tiered pricing, and I really suggest you do, go back and listen to episode 145. You can find it at resourcefuldesigner.com/episode 145. But offering print is a great way to set up your tiers. A company that's coming to you for a website, you may create a 3-tiered pricing option to pitch to them, where the exact website they want would be the middle tier. The first tier would be a stripped down version. But then the third tier could offer more, including a flyer and business card design and stuff that you can include for the print side of things. So it allows you to offer more for a higher price. It's a benefit for the client because they're getting both web and print, and it's extra income for you. You get to charge for designing the print, and if you're lucky, you can make money off the print brokering. Now, number 4, designing for print is tangible. Graphic design, as you know, is a visual medium. We create things that are aesthetically pleasing as well as functional. But design can be so much more where print is concerned. Different paper stocks or printing methods can convey meanings on their own. Some papers just look and feel cheap, while other papers convey a sense of quality and prestige. Embossing, die cutting, stamping, special coatings on paper, all of these are part of print design, which can increase the perceived value of a printed piece. The University of Oxford did a study that shows that consumers generally value physical goods more so than digital goods, meaning they're willing to pay more for something they can touch. As a designer, you can use this to your advantage. Designing something that is physical, meaning something that's going to be printed on paper, increases its perceived value to the client so that you can actually charge more for it. And finally, the fifth point I want to make is that it takes a different creative mindset to design for print. With a website, if you need more room for your content, the page will just automatically become longer for you. You don't have to worry about it. Digital ads on Facebook or other social medias, they don't have to say that much because they link back to a landing page with all the information you need. Print, however, requires, let's call it advanced creative thinking. A piece of paper is a fixed size, and that doesn't change. So a designer has to find creative ways to use that limited space to their advantage. What's the best way to include all the necessary information on a poster, a postcard, a billboard? What's the best typeface to use, and at what size? How will colors interact with each other on paper? Pixels are actually quite easy. Pixels are either on or off. They're there or they're not. But designing for print allows you to stretch your creativity to find the best way to design something that not only looks good, but it serves a purpose, all while conforming to those restrictions that are imposed by the medium, the paper, and the printing process. So to wrap up, print can be used to really give an edge to a business. As more and more people are moving to online advertising and moving everything digitally, print has now become a way for a company to stand out, which is exactly what your clients are trying to do. So if you offer print as a service, you are one up on all the other designers there that are only offering web service. So if you are one of those countless new generation of designers who specialize only in digital media, I hope that this episode whets your appetite a bit for print design, enough so that you give it a try. Start off simple, designing business cards and letterheads, and then move on to bigger things. As someone who started his career in print and then moved on and included web, and now I offer both services, I can tell you that it is quite fulfilling in a creative way to design something for the printed medium. And I think as a designer, as somebody that is creative and likes to expand and grow, it is definitely something you should be looking into. Now, I would love to know, do you offer print as part of your services? Leave a comment for this episode by visiting resourcefuldesigner.com/episode 228. So I want to thank you for tuning in. Please check out catchafire.org. It's a great website where you can volunteer your design skills to help out a nonprofit or a charity that is in need, and a great opportunity for you to build your portfolio. And also, remember what Mike said about the Resourceful Designer community. And if you want to partake, if you want to experience what Mike does, then head on over to resourcefuldesigner.com/community. We would all love for you to be a part of it. So thank you very much. Until next time, I am Mark Decote, wishing you all the best with your design business and reminding you to stay creative.
Thanks for listening to the Resourceful Designer Podcast at resourcefuldesigner.com.